Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello. Let's take a second. Let's people trickle in here. And then we will get started. All right. What if you could invest early in the AI technologies that will fundamentally transform how we learn and teach over the next decade? Today, Alumni Ventures managing partner Ron Levin is going to uncover how AI is reinventing education through four powerful forces, from making personalization affordable at scale to creating data-driven learning moats that compound competitive advantages. Investing in Education 2.0 isn't just smart investing, it's about empowering the next generation of learners while positioning yourself at the forefront of one of the most significant technological disruptions in human history. So today, scan any of the QR codes you see on your screen and join us to access deal-by-deal venture investing. All right, Ron, let's jump in.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is Ron Levin, managing partner at Alumni Ventures, and pleased to have you with us here today as we talk about Education 2.0, personalized learning at global scale. So before we get started, this is a presentation by Alumni Ventures and our view on the associated investment landscape. This presentation is for information purposes only and is not intended as an offer to sell securities or the solicitation of an offer to buy securities. If you're interested in our disclosures, you may visit av-funds.com/disclosures. And with that, a quick intro on myself. So again, I'm Ron, been with Alumni Ventures for more than 6 years now. Been interested in entrepreneurship since I was a kid, started my first business at age 11 and went on to major in entrepreneurship at Babson College. Later on, completed my MBA at Harvard Business School. I've spent most of my career at the intersection of digital technology as well as the travel and aviation industries, and then the intersection thereof. So was at Lycos, one of the early .com players from the early sort of first wave of web and .com, and then migrated over to working at US Airways, where I did route planning and strategy. Post-business school, went to work at McKinsey in the travel and logistics practice, subsequently led me over to Booking.com, one of the world's most valuable, not only travel companies, but e-commerce companies as well. From there, I met my two co-founders. We started a company together in Barcelona called TravelPerk, an enterprise travel management platform that today is a multi-billion-dollar valuation unicorn company. I was pleased to be the founding CEO, although I left the company in a day-to-day role a number of years ago, obviously before getting into venture capital. During my course at AV here, I've published a book called Higher Purpose Venture Capital, which really tells the story of venture-backed entrepreneurs who are helping to solve some of the world's greatest problems through a combination of profit and purpose motive. Today, I oversee the seed fund here at Alumni Ventures, but I'm really passionate about specific fields such as AI and education. This is sort of a core area of interest of mine. Been interested in the education landscape and education reform for many years, and very curious to see how AI will transform this industry. And I'm starting to form, obviously, some thesis around this, which I'll talk about more here today. So we're going to jump in a little bit on education itself and why it needs reinvention. It goes without saying how important education is as a field. You're probably not joining this call today because you don't agree with that. You know, the statistics are very powerful on education and its impact on one's earnings potential, on lifestyle, on the ability to get ahead in terms of personal and professional means. Education is really the most powerful tool we have for advancing as individuals, as families, upward mobility. It impacts our health and as well as lifetime earnings potential and general happiness. So why should it be reformed? Well, we all, I think, kind of want the same goal of improving education. So how is that going to be reinvented through technology? So there are forces that are currently powering Education 2.0 that we'll talk about, and there are some proven playbooks of what has worked for founders of education companies and some of the technology applications that are getting education businesses ahead, and what are some of the signals that we look at as investors. We'll talk about a couple of the companies that AV has invested in specifically, and then how you can participate. Alumni Ventures is about democratizing access to venture capital, and how can you, as an individual investor, play in this, what we feel is a revolution of AI and its transformation of the education landscape. If you're not as familiar with Alumni Ventures, we got founded in 2014 to offer individuals the opportunity to get access to smart, simple venture capital portfolios. We've raised money to date from roughly $1.5 billion of investment capital from about 11,000 individual investors. We've deployed capital into over 1,600 companies across many different funds within the Alumni Ventures umbrella. That makes us one of the most active venture firms globally and the largest domestic venture firm for individual investors. We have over 120 employees spread across numerous offices, from our headquarters in Manchester, New Hampshire, as well as investment teams in Boston, New York, Chicago, and Menlo Park. So we have been recognized not only for our deal volume that I've mentioned, but also for the quality of deals that we're doing. We've been ranked as a top 20 venture firm by CB Insights, one of the top unicorn investors by Stanford GSB Research, as well as one of the most founder-friendly investors by Inc. magazine. Just today, as we're recording this, we've also been recognized by Time magazine, which does a survey of thousands of venture capital firms. They ranked the top 350 of them in the US, and we were very pleased to come out as the number 20 venture investment firm, and the only one among that top list that is really geared toward individual investors. So proud to be recognized by many different leading academic organizations, as well as market research and educational institutions, as being among the best at what we do in the venture capital business. Our model is to co-invest alongside the leading venture capital firms. That's why we're able to achieve the results that mimic the performance of some of the leading firms in our industry. So firms like Andreessen Horowitz, Kleiner Perkins, Khosla, Sequoia, Bessemer, NEA, et cetera. These are some of the top names, some of the most prestigious names in our business, and we've co-invested many times alongside many of these firms, as well as hundreds of others. So our model is not to invest in a vacuum, but to co-invest alongside the best venture firms in the world, because these are firms that are can be quite inaccessible to many individual investors. Some of the storied names in our industry, they tend to raise their capital from large institutions, and because we get in the same rounds and same valuations as these funds, we make the same investment opportunities possible for individual investors in order to capture that alpha, or that return that's available in fast scaling venture businesses before they go public and are accessible to any investor. That's really our mission. So please feel free to fill out this survey. We'd like to know your thoughts and interested in getting to know you. If you'd like to sign up for a one-on-one intro call with a member of our team, you can hit this QR code here or visit av-funds.com/100 to get a $100 merchandise store credit to get one of these nice looking t-shirts, and who doesn't love a little swag? So a little incentive to learn more about Alumni Ventures through a one-on-one conversation. And with that, let's turn to our communities. So we are in the process of actually building communities around different types of investing. So we are developing a thesis along a number of different lines that we believe are emerging sectors and trends within the venture investing landscape. And so we're building several different communities. And the one that I'm sharing with you today is one that I'm personally committed to and deeply involved with, which is Education 2.0. So our intention with this is to curate some of the best possible deals for the future of education and technologies and companies that we think are going to be at the forefront of revolutionizing this multi-trillion-dollar industry. So to set the stage, global education shouldn't be a surprise, is a massive market, about a $6 trillion global industry in education and training. So that runs from early childhood education through primary education, secondary, graduate, and then lifelong learning, as well as supplemental education markets for adults, and everything that kind of is encompassed, including vocational training for youth and adults and everything else. So the education market is largely formulated based on a 1920s style model of factory style learning, a teacher in front of a classroom who lectures. It's kind of a similar model throughout the world, but it is evolving, and there are, of course, various differences. There are different methods of teaching, certainly around the world and within the US, but it's all sort of coming from the similar roots. We believe that this is fundamentally changing right now, and it will change radically in the future. And a lot of that is really driven by the concept of personalized learning. And so the advent of AI, large language models, is going to have a tremendous impact on the way we learn, the way we teach, the way we engage, how parents understand how their children learn, how everyone learns and evolves, because we're all different. We all learn in different ways, and there's really no one size fits all that will cultivate everyone's, what we believe, natural curiosity to learn. But everyone has different styles, and we believe AI is that linchpin that's going to help people learn at the right pace, at the right time, and really allow machine learning to evaluate how we as individuals learn and push us to learn to our maximum potential at the right speed and the right pace for everyone. So we think that this is a revolution that's happening before our eyes. So we see four forces driving this wave. The personalization that I mentioned has gotten a lot cheaper. So we're going to talk about that. We believe that people will pay to see real progress. We think direct-to-consumer is going to unlock a lot of this scale, and we think data is key to this competitive advantage that companies are going to have. So let's spend a moment on each of these. So personalization got cheap as LLMs really started scaling in the last couple of years. It's able to provide professional tutor-like quality, although almost instantaneously and very inexpensively. So there's going to be adaptive responses that are compelling, but the unit economics are still going to be compelling because of the scale at which this can now be delivered. So we're really looking at some of these very scalable solutions within personalized learning. We do see the willingness to pay for real progress. So consumers, individual learners, parents, workplaces, schools are willing to pay to see really meaningful results. And a lot of this is being driven by freemium platforms where people can sample a product for free or almost free and then decide if they're willing to pay for it. And once they see the results, we believe that the willingness to pay is going to show up and create a very strong ROI for investors as well. Thirdly, direct-to-consumer. While we absolutely see a big market of selling to workplaces, selling to educational institutions, school districts, individual schools, et cetera, we think individuals are going to pay. Examples like Duolingo for language learning, where there's been real demonstration of a willingness to pay in order to get results. And really adaptive learning for those who are willing to pay a little bit of money to see meaningful results. But being able to do it at scale can also make for a very attractive financial return for investors. And finally, data is the big moat here. More than any time in our future, these large language models, these adaptive learning systems are going to absorb information about how people learn, how different types of people learn, how people from different cultures, backgrounds, countries, from different socioeconomic systems really can learn in different ways. And this data can be very powerful, not just for the individual, but for at the macro level as well. And we're going to learn a lot about the way people learn to, for example, to speak a language, the way people learn about math or science or language arts or other subject matters, even about music and other areas. data is going to largely influence how people learn and is going to be a real advantage, and we'll have advantages as a business in other ways too, as we learn about people and what makes them tick, not only as lifelong learners, but just to understand how people are motivated, what they like, that we see a real moat that companies are going to develop by having data about how people think and learn. So there are a number of companies that have been big winners in the space. Education technology in its past has had different companies with different results, and some people have the perception that investing in education can be challenging. It can be difficult to sell to school districts, it being government agencies and so forth, and also companies that have tried and not been as successful. But there are some big winners that we can take lessons from. Duolingo, as I mentioned on an earlier slide, has really done well through freemium subscriptions, proving that a product can work well and then being able to sell it and scale it with very strong engagement loops that keeps people using the product and using different products and different features all along a long journey that keeps people well engaged and sticky on the platform. PowerSchool has proven a SaaS land and expand model. Embedded tools that are sticky and easily expandable is very interesting. Network Effects Handshake, which for example has a very popular tool for career learning, education about how to get into the right types of employers, how to find those employers, and developing a marketplace model that connects future employers, internships, et cetera, with students in a democratized fashion. Kajabi, which is an infrastructure play working with creators. So education can apply in many different forms. And all of these companies are sort of in that unicorn or public company status that have done very well and have been very accretive investments for their shareholders. There are also companies, of course, that have not done as well that we can learn from. Chegg was a very big name in education technology for a long time, went to the public markets, but is now trading at something close to 90+% down from their one-time value. They really built AI before AI was a big thing in education a few years ago, but that isn't enough. You really need to be very specialized, very focused, and be ahead of the game, ahead of some of the larger language models in terms of your features. And it seems may not have really kept up with that, and going wide but not deep may not have been the right strategy there. So a lot to learn from both some of the winners and the losers that we are, as investors, are very keen to pay attention to. A couple portfolio companies that Alumni Ventures has been involved with. Now, we've actually invested in a couple dozen education training companies over the years that have been quite successful. Panorama Education is one of these, a late stage growth company that's selling into school districts, that's really able to take data and apply it to show teachers and schools how their students learn and help them craft the right curriculum and pedagogy that works for their students. So, the application of data into software is very powerful here, and this company has grown very well in value, and we're very proud investors here. So this is one example of a company that's not yet gone public, but is on a trajectory to do so, hopefully one day. Numerated, another one in the AI tutoring space, again, an early company that's used adaptive learning to help guide students through mastery of different subjects. We invested at the Series A, and they continue to do well and retain customers very well as students are learning and expanding their horizons. So another company that we're proud to be investors in. So what does this mean for all of you? So what we're doing here at Alumni Ventures is we are hoping to invest in many more education technology companies through this revolution. Every investment we make, certainly within the seed fund, will go into that fund, but we also will be offering the opportunity for individual investors to invest in the syndicates. So many of our investors choose to invest in our funds and have a diversified portfolio. That's the core of what we do. But these curated deals will also be made available in many instances as individual opportunities. So you, as a member of the Education 2.0 community, if you choose to join us, we'll have the opportunity to put money into a specific deal. When we have education deals that we can share as a syndication, you will get that opportunity to look at a specific deal capital that we have already decided to invest in, that we have high conviction in, and you're welcome to invest a designated amount of capital into that specific company. So you will be able to be a shareholder through through Alumni Ventures directly into these organizations. So joining the syndicate is at no cost and no obligation. You're welcome to look at 5 or 10 deals and pass on all of them if you don't see the right one, but you'll have the opportunity to invest in ones that you find exciting. So you'll get to review some of the high-level material about the company and the opportunity and our thoughts on the deal as an investment. Just by signing up, you will then be able to get access to these deals as we see them, which will hopefully be several times per year at least, as well as be part of a general community where there might be other opportunities to engage with us, both in digital forums as well as potentially even in-person events. So we are going to officially kick off, although you can certainly sign up before this, but we will have an in-person event at New York City EdTech Week, which is coming up October 20th. This will be an event at our office in New York, in Manhattan on Madison Avenue, where you're welcome to join us. If you've signed up for this community or let us know ahead of time, you're certainly welcome to join us for drinks and bites and some interesting speakers and getting to know some founders within the education technology community, some entrepreneurs who are doing some incredible things in solving all different aspects of this, B2B, B2C, early education, continuing education, you name it. There are startups tackling all kinds of different issues, and you'll get to meet some of them if you attend this event. And we're hoping that we'll have other events like this coming up if you can't make this one specifically. And with that, AI is a revolution across many different industries. Education, we strongly believe, has the power to change the world. I've written about that in my blogs and in my book, and believe in that as an investor, that you can do well by doing good. We as investors, first and foremost, are seeking financial return. So that's table stakes for any investment that we make. But it happens that some of these investments also have a tremendous societal benefit. And we love that intersection when we see it, that it's a big addressable market as an investor, but also a big addressable market in terms of solving some of society's most vexing problems. And specific to education, you can be a part of this revolution by joining our syndicate and our community. And we're happy to share more about this if you have additional questions. And so with that, as I mentioned, you are welcome to join Alumni Ventures by investing on one of our funds, including the seed fund that I've talked about today, or one of our many other funds that invest in AI and deep tech, or in one of our alumni community funds, or many others. We encourage you to learn more about those, but you're also welcome to join our syndicates, as I mentioned. Here's some of our team that can work with you on this, so feel free to scan the QR code if you'd like to either schedule a call with one of our distinguished colleagues here that can walk you through what it's like to invest in with Alumni Ventures. If you're an existing investor and want to check in on your portfolio, you can meet one of our team members here, such as Stephanie or Hillary. And if you'd like to join the syndicate and you're more of a self-service type of person, you can also click this code and do pretty much everything on your own if you don't have any other questions that you'd like to discuss with us. But we're here for anything you need. We really appreciate you joining our call today, and we're always happy to chat with new investors, existing investors, talk more about the Education Syndicate or anything else about investing through Alumni Ventures. So we appreciate you joining us today, and happy to have your support, and look forward to meeting you. Thank you very much.
Okay, Ron, thank you. So the classroom is changing, and so is the investment landscape that surrounds it. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and if you're ready to help shape the future of learning and grow your portfolio in the process, scan the QR code or visit av.vc to take the next step. And as always, we will see you next time.